As you will have heard this morning, there are 61 new cases today. While on the face of it, that may seem a heartening number relative to some of the other figures that we've had now, I want to emphasise again that it is still too early to assess if our measures are successfully slowing transmission. Because COVID-19 takes a while to incubate, we could still see increases in our numbers in the days to come, off the back of transmission in the community prior to the lockdown that may yet be rearing its head in visible symptoms. If the virus is in the community in this way, present but not yet seen, then the worst thing we could do is be relaxed or too complacent and allow a silent spread. I think we only need to look at some of the clusters of cases that we have in our community to know just how quickly COVID-19 can spread if we weren't, for instance, currently at level 4. The schooling community of Marist in Auckland, the community of Matamata, if we weren't at level 4, we could see outbreaks that were far, far worse down the track. We also don't have a full picture of the extent of community transmission. That is why we have been so focused on increasing testing capacity, which over a period of time we've seen a 91% increase in that testing capacity and are working to continue to build that. It is why ultimately testing being so important to obviously our officials in the Ministry of Health as well. You'll have seen that technical advisory group yesterday changing the definition for testing to encourage more tests to be undertaken. We want to know as soon and as accurately as possible how widely spread COVID is in the community so we can be confident we have it back under control and that we can keep successfully stamping out cases as they arrive. So I'll repeat as I always do, stay at home. Only go out if you need to. When you do, stay local. Keep 2 metres apart from others. Stick only to your bubble and act like you have the virus. I continue to be very aware that this is a challenge unlike any other we have faced. But rest assured, if we continue as we are, continuing applying the rules, then that gives us the best hope of being able to move into different alert levels. Work carried on in the Beehive today with the Cabinet Business Committee meeting today, virtually of course. Earlier today, you may have seen from Ministers Jones, Twyford and Parker announcements on infrastructure. Industry leaders have been asked to find infrastructure projects that are ready to start as soon as the construction industry gears up again. The aim of this is to help reduce the economic impact of COVID by safeguarding jobs and businesses as much as possible. Projects from the private and public sector, including local government, that are shovel-ready or likely to be within 6 months, will be put before ministers. And I note that this is additional to the government's $12 billion New Zealand upgrade program and existing provincial growth fund infrastructure investments. We also announced that advance payments will be made to transport construction industry contractors to retain the workforce and ensure it is ready to quickly gear up to build these projects, which will be vital to New Zealand's COVID-19 economic recovery. To complement all of this, work is also underway looking at measures to speed up consents for the development and infrastructure projects during the current recovery from COVID-19 to provide jobs and stimulate our economy. Minister Robertson is here if there are any further questions on any of those announcements today. I also have some information on the first day of the Price Watch service we announced yesterday. As at 9 a.m, around 990 emails. That does include some duplicates and unrelated messages, but that is the number that had been received as at 9 a.m. The most common complaint was, as previously advertised, the high price of cauliflower, with some emails quoting $13 each. But also prices of hand sanitizer, bread, meat, face masks and garlic also featured in complaints. I do want to say to people that we are taking these complaints seriously. In some cases, it will simply be an issue of constrained change in supply, particularly when it comes to produce, but we are investigating complaints that are made because this is a time when we want to know that New Zealanders are being treated fairly, and that's what Price Watch is all about. The process for dealing with complaints is being worked through, and as I've said, will need to be fact-checked, and we will involve traders so that they obviously have a chance to respond to some of what's being raised. Again, though, I urge everyone, shop as normal, and be kind to the supermarket workers who are there so that you can remain stocked up at home. Following up on some of the questions from yesterday on the government's recently announced $56 million support package for Māori communities and $27 million package for NGOs and community groups, today I want to give you just a few updates. The funding allocated to whānau ora commissioning agencies has been fully paid out, which has helped the agencies to coordinate 100,000 care packages, with over 11,000 delivered to date, aiming for 30,000 by the end of the week. And that's to help members of the community have access to products to ensure that they're able to meet some of the expectations during COVID-19 to keep themselves safe, particularly some of the guidelines being issued by the Ministry of Health. The investment has also helped to facilitate priority access to COVID-19 testing for vulnerable whānau, such as kaumātua, and help to address immediate needs such as providing food and clothing, access to isolation accommodation, and technology for educational needs. Te Pini Kokiri and the Ministry of Health are continuing to work with commissioning agencies to make sure that they are involved in the wider COVID-19 response. Of the package to support NGOs and community groups, nearly half has been allocated, that's roughly 12 million, to support essential family and sexual violence services. That includes one-off grants to the likes of Women's Refuge and other services to provide residential support to ensure women and children can move to safe accommodation or stay safe in their homes with the perpetrator removed, and an immediate $1 million boost to beef up the capacity for crisis and helpline services. Minister for Social Development Carmel Sepuloni will have more to say on that in the very near future. And finally today I want to thank the people who everyone at home is becoming very familiar with as you watch our daily press conferences, and that is our sign language interpreters. I know Civil Defence Director Sarah Stewart-Black issued a thank you earlier today, and I want to reiterate that, and specifically to Ellen, Jen and Melissa, who you see quite frequently, although Ellen is not here at the moment, Wenda, Rosie and Angela as well. Some of the phrases that you see frequently. About 4,000 to 5,000 New Zealanders are deaf and rely on New Zealand Sign Language as their first language. It is one of New Zealand's 3 official languages. And remember, their singular focus is to make sure as many New Zealanders as possible know what is going on, not just here in Parliament, but in New Zealand and around the country. And I know there's also much interpretation work going on alongside the huge increase in video conferencing as well. It is an exceptional feat and at a vital time when we need information to reach as many New Zealanders as possible. I know a few of our sign language interpreters have rightly gone viral, and I hope what will also go viral is our gratitude for the incredible role and important work that they do. So thank you.